What's up, Auburn fans? Welcome into Auburn Primetime Live. This is the 30th episode of Auburn Primetime Live. What a wonderful journey it has been. I'm glad to be here on this Tuesday night, and I thank each and every one of you already in the chat, man. I thank each and every one of you for joining me, and it is time to talk Auburn football. The Auburn Tigers are 3-0, headed to Norman, Oklahoma, headed for SEC play. This is a massive one. I feel like the talking heads and I feel like the media, they're already counting the Auburn Tigers out. I feel like the point spread is continuing to climb and they're just saying that Auburn doesn't have a shot. We see the talk on Twitter. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, well, man, they're not gonna know what to do because the stadium's gonna be deafening, and these kids they're not gonna be ready for this atmosphere." And look, let's cut the crap and let's get right to it. The Auburn Tigers are not scared to walk into Norman, Oklahoma. They have played in those environments, and I think a great test for Auburn, even for these young kids, these freshmen, these sophomores. You went to Baylor in front of the entire country week one. Okay. Now, I know McLean Stadium isn't what Norman, Oklahoma is going to be, but it's still an electric atmosphere for these young pups for this Auburn football team. So acting like they're not ready to go. And look, I do think it's a great thing that it's not a night game. Okay. Because I wouldn't want to go in there at night. But 2:30, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be hostile. Not like it was last year. If you watch the Alabama Oklahoma game, I don't think it's going to be that type of setting. There's just a difference. There's a difference at Jordan Hare between 2:30 and 6 o'clock. There's a massive difference. It's still loud, and that place is still going to be loud, but it's not. It's not the same as it is Texas A&M at a 6:30 kick. It's just not. So getting on the Twitter heads and saying that Auburn's not going to be prepared, they're not going to be ready, they don't know what's going to hit them. I think Auburn's going to be just fine when it comes to atmosphere, uh, the noise, and things like that. Look, this is a team that they haven't they didn't commit a lot of penalties last week, and they've cleaned it up each and every week moving forward. It's not like they have gotten worse as the season went on. I think they've gotten better as the season went on. So I don't think this is a team that's going to come in unprepared, not focused, and just not ready to play. I think Auburn will be ready to go and will be ready to compete at the highest level in the best conference in college football. So I just wanted to get that out there. I wanted to get that straight because I feel like a lot of people are discrediting Auburn. And what's really funny to me, and I made this point a couple of nights ago, is it was real funny that all through the summer, leading up to week one, all we heard was there is no shot Auburn beats Baylor. And I had somebody come at me. I had somebody come at me on Twitter and said, nobody said that. And I said, yes, they did. There was many talking heads that said, man, we're taking Baylor. We think it's going to be close, but we're taking Baylor. We just don't believe in what Auburn is putting out there. All the talk through the off season and Hugh Freeze. Well, now that Auburn handled Baylor, and they did it, let's be honest, quite convincingly, it turned into, well, it was just Baylor. Well, then Baylor went on the road and beat SMU, and then it was, well, SMU is really not that good. Well, now Auburn's 3-0, and you said Auburn was going to start the season 2-4. So where did it all change? That's my first thing. Going into this week, where did it all change? Because I feel like every time Auburn wins, you try to change the narrative and you try to change the story of where this Auburn football team is going. Kind of annoying to me. I don't like it. I think it's lazy. I think it's a little piss poor, to be honest. I do. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not at all. I think it's I think it's weak that you consistently change the narrative that when Auburn beats somebody, oh, they're just not good. Or and then that team goes and beats a top 20 team. Well, they weren't good either. I haven't seen a lot of Auburn fans discrediting Michigan. Now, Auburn will tell you that it's not the same Michigan that won the national championship. It's not the same offense. Yes, they have a great talent in Bryce Underwood, but that's not J.J. McCarthy back there. Yes, Michigan has a great running back in Justice Haynes, but that's not Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Auburn, we're not discrediting Michigan. All we're saying is they have a true freshman quarterback, and it's hard to base things off of that performance. And your two other opponents have been Illinois State and Temple. Now, I think Oklahoma is really good. I do. I think they're really, really good. I tell my buddy Josh all the time, I think y'all got a squad. I think you got the right head coach. I think you got yourselves a quarterback. I think the offensive line is still kind of eh. I don't know where the run game is. We'll get into all that Thursday. But it's funny how everybody wants to discredit that Baylor win. And I just find that really funny. I don't see a lot of us going at Michigan and saying that they're trash, because I don't think this is right to do. I don't think that has anything to do with what's going to go on Saturday. I don't think that has anything to do. I think Auburn goes in, you play your game, you run your offense, you don't turn the ball over, you force Mateer to turn the ball over, which I also think when I hear a couple of Oklahoma fans, I'm not going to say all because I don't think they all say this, but I see a couple online and they're like, oh, well, every Mateer pick that he's thrown, it wasn't his fault. Well, let me tell you something. You might want to go back and watch the tape against Michigan because he throws the ball into traffic a lot. He's a gunslinger. Now, he puts them on the money more than he does, more than not. But there are some times where he misses throws and he throws into traffic, and some of them are over the middle of the field. And when that happens, when a ball sails high over the middle of the field, what happens? Bang, it's a pick. Or a ball's tipped, it's a pick. Mateer will put, if you get him off his spot, he will throw the ball into traffic. It's noted. Just go watch the tape. Now, I think he's a hell of a quarterback. I think they're going to win a lot of games. I think whoever wins this game actually puts themselves in prime position to continue their season as climbing the polls and really being in that college football conversation, that playoff conversation. So that is one thing I'm excited about. But let's get into Hugh Freeze's press conference, man. Once again, I'm thoroughly impressed with Hugh Freeze. I've liked how he's carried himself this year. He looks super confident. He looks stress-free. He looks like he believes in this football team, man. It's something that I haven't seen the previous 2 years, and I was always his biggest critic for the way he carried himself, not on the field, but off the field. It was extremely concerning to me the way he would just kind of like mope at press conferences and things. And he would put his head in his hands and things like that. Like, that was just super concerning to me. I didn't like it. Wasn't a fan of it. But he looks great so far this year. It's going to get a little tougher now because we're getting into Southeastern Conference play. But first thing, he talks about John Mateer. He gives him credit. He says that Oklahoma has a playmaker. They have a guy that can do both, right? John Mateer can use his legs. How are you going to defend that? I think you got to move him off his spot. You got to get guys. Hey, look, Jared Smith, all right, freak, freshman, raw, super talented. I think he's going to pin his ears back and try to get after Mateer. I think Hugh's going to play him. I think they're going to try to get Mateer off his spot and force him into some of those missed throws. And he talked about Mateer's run game and how they lean on him a lot. Now, one thing I think is a plus for Auburn is Oklahoma hasn't found that run game yet. They haven't. And I think they're a little underwhelmed in Norman because they had Jay Knott transfer in and they were expecting really big things. That offensive line hasn't gotten it going yet, and the run game hasn't gotten it going. So if Auburn can make them one-dimensional and Auburn can be really good in the middle of the field, I think that's a plus for Auburn. Wouldn't you agree? I think if you can make Oklahoma one-dimensional and make Mateer have to throw the ball nonstop, because Oklahoma's going to have to try to run it. They're going to have to try to run it and keep Auburn at bay. And if you can get to Mateer, I think that's a plus for Auburn. But Hugh credited John Mateer. And then he went on to talk about health. How healthy is this football team? He said, I think we're in great health. Damari Austin. He talked about DA. He said, do you think he would go? Yes. All right. He said, obviously he hasn't went live. We don't know how he's going to react to that contact. But if we had to suit up today, DA would go. Damari would play. Now, my thing with that is, I think the way Jeremiah Cobb has been running the football, I think Jeremiah Cobb gets first crack. He's healthier. He's been running hard. He's been breaking tackles. He's elusive. And as you saw Justice Haynes in that Michigan game with Oklahoma, he had a 75-yard pop to the house. Bang. I think he had like 19 carries for 125 yards, but he had one carry for 75. So I think Cobb could be that guy to get that first touch. Like I said, he's elusive. He's slippery. He could pop one and get to the house and really set the tone for the Auburn Tigers. And then he talked about a Morris going down. I think that's very, very massive for Auburn in this game. If a Morris can't go, I think that really hurts. But then he added, well, Jared Smith would be that next guy, right? You got Chris Murray, but Jared Smith would be that freak of nature. Y'all, he's like 6'6". All right. His first step, you saw it against South. Like they couldn't block him. He's a freak. And I told y'all over the summer, when I went to the All-Star game and I watched him, I said he's going to play early. He is going to get on the field. And I didn't mean just against, Mercer and Ball State. No, he's going to end up playing SEC games because he's that good. His hands are that good. His first step is that good. And he's a freak. And here we are, headed to Norman, talking about Jared Smith getting on the field. Next up, Alex McPherson. We've seen Towns Magoo. I don't think we need to see it anymore. Connor Gibbs. I think if we get put in a situation of 50-plus to try to tie it at the end or before the half, I think Connor Gibbs goes out. I think 40 and under, you're going to see more Alex McPherson. Maybe if it's like a 43, 44-yarder, I think you see Alex McPherson. Anything over 45, probably not. But the one he kicked Saturday, I think that ball would have went in probably from 45. So I think you can kind of start stretching Alex a little bit and just kind of see how much more strength he can build up and continue to get better. But you're going to need Alex McPherson. Auburn cannot go first drive, get into scoring range, and have an opportunity for 3 points, and we missed that opportunity because Alex McPherson can't get it done. So I think you got to roll Alex out there and give him every opportunity because, like I said, last Saturday that ball looked good from at least 45, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see what he's got this weekend. And then they talked a little bit. I think this is super overblown. All right. I think the Oklahoma Stadium and the return of Jackson Arnold, I think this is super overblown. I hope each and every one of you agree with me because I'll tell you something. I transferred when I was in high school. I transferred and ended up going to a different school and spent my last 2 years there. And when you go back and you play that school, something that Jackson has to know before Saturday is you can't want it. You can't want it extremely bad. All right. You have to set your mentals on it's just another opponent. You have to go in, there's going to be butterflies, but you have to tell yourself, just do your job. All right. Just do your job. That's it. Because if you want it way more than the game before or the next game, you're going to end up making that mistake because you're trying to press and you're trying to do everything perfect because you want to beat them so badly. You want to beat them so badly that you end up making a mistake because it's in between here. Go in, carefree, man. Go in, let it flow. Just don't even worry about. I know it's going to be emotional and everything. You're going back to your first love. You know how you feel about your first love and all that good stuff. But you're in a different relationship now. All right, you're in a different relationship, and this one seems to be a whole lot better. So just go in and let it all hang free, and go in and play ball. Don't worry about what happened at Oklahoma. Don't worry about wanting to beat them so badly. Just go in and do your job. Don't turn the ball over and play free, man. Play free. So I think that's very overblown, though. People are saying that it's a chess match and Jackson knows this, and the only thing that I think is really known is BV knows what Jackson he likes and he knows what he doesn't like. That's about it. As far as I've heard people say that they know the signs and all this stuff, they don't. Like Jackson doesn't know anything, and that's so overblown, man. It's so overblown, and I think they're hyping all this way too far up. I really do. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So let's get over here in these comments. I want to hear from y'all. Auburn Dad, you're up in here, man. How you doing? War Damn Eagle, let's go. Love to see it. My guy Thomas, War Damn, y'all. Auburn Express, War Eagle, man. How we doing? How we doing? Miss Devin, War Eagle fam. So excited to hang out with y'all. Today has been rough. Yeah, it's been a rough week, to be honest. It's been a rough week. Over or under Ja throwing for 250 against Oklahoma. I think if Ja can go like 230 to 250 and Auburn can get DA and Jeremiah, if they can get them going, I think Auburn wins the football game. I think if he can get to that 250 mark and they can get Jeremiah and DA going and have some similar success that Michigan had and just kind of grind it out, make it sloppy. I think Auburn wins. Karen Parker says, War Damn fam, War Damn Eagle. Appreciate you, Thomas. Yeah, Thomas, I see that, man. You are exactly right. I'm starting to think OU thinks they're Bama or Oregon. They're a super confident fan base, but sheesh, man, it's been a little extra. It's been a little extra here lately. Yeah, I don't know. War Damn Eagle Brad, how we doing tonight? Brad says under. I'm with you there. I think if he can if he can get it to 230 or right, like right below 250, man, I think Auburn has a great shot to win the football game. OU fans are being awfully arrogant. They think they're going to wipe the floor with us. I like that. That's bulletin board material. I like it. That's the way I want it. Missed tackles will be the difference in winning and losing this game, in my opinion. Our secondary's got to get better. We got to get better from top to bottom. Caleb Harris, I'm calling you out. I think you have to be better. Champ Anthony, I think he's going to play clubbed up, whatever you got to do. I think he will give it a go. You got to tackle. We got to tackle. We have to be better in the middle of the field. We can't give up the RPOs. Our linebackers, Can't get sucked in like they did against South Alabama. We just have to be better all around, for real. Devin, they should take a lesson from Baylor fans. Yeah, that was a lot of hype, week one. Norman ain't Athens. You're right. You're totally right, though, for real. I ain't ever met a humble OU fan, and that includes my mama's daddy. Hey, I'll tell y'all something. I went down to Miami to watch Alabama and Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. Back, it was Tua and Kyler, and I sat in the Oklahoma section, and sheesh, rough, 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 rough. Hot take of the week: Oklahoma's offensive line is going to have a long day. Mike, I don't think they're very good. I don't. I don't think they're very good. Uh, it might not end up being that hot of a take. We'll come back to it. That's why we play the game. Any fan base playing us this year has just been talking immense trash, zero respect whatsoever. Let them talk. They look at what the past 5 years have been. That's what they look at. That's where the trash talking comes from. No other place. Temple was getting a lot of push on that left side. You just out. You sometimes you just out athlete folks. You just out athlete folks. If our edge guys eat, it depends on the linebackers to handle Mateer. If we can do that, we can handle them. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Mateer like using his legs as long as we're tackling. I'm more worried about our linebackers in coverage right now. I'm more worried about our linebackers in coverage. I'm also worried about the nickel. Hugh mentioned Blake Woodby. Could he slide in there and get some snaps at nickel? Well, you got to figure something out because Sylvester hasn't really Levi. Sylvester hasn't really worked so far. And, he's great. He lays the boom. He brings the wood and all that good stuff. But the coverage it's been lacking. We have to be better. We have to be better. We got to figure something out right there. What we got? There's a lot of deficiency at tackle in the SEC this year. Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, just to name a few. They're getting too deep and allowing rush lanes, or too short and giving up the outside. Old buddy from Georgia was getting abused, wasn't he? Had a rough day. He battled. He battled. I'll give it to him. In that Tennessee Georgia game, buddy was struggling. I can't remember his number. But he was getting beat to death, especially right out the gate. But I mean, he battled back and it got a little bit better, I guess you could say. But he was having a rough go there at first. Even if it's your old team, it's still home field for you. Let's see here. What's up, Blake? Just finished hanging out with my son. What did I miss? Nothing much, man. We're just talking about Hugh Freeze's press conference, preparing for Oklahoma, stuff like that. Big props to hanging out with the son, bro. That's the good stuff, especially for the last week that we have went through. And I think you got to put a little extra emphasis on hanging with the son, hanging with the family, hanging with the wife, hanging with the girlfriend, hanging with whatever, man. Whoever you love, I think you gotta get that done, And I don't want to get too political or on that topic tonight. But one thing I will say is one thing my wife and I are going to try is Charlie Kirk did say that everybody needs to try in today's time. Everybody needs to try one thing. And one day of the week, you need to take your cell phone when you get home and you need to turn it off for the entire night. Turn it off. Put it up. Don't open your laptop. Nothing. It's just you, your partner, your children, whoever you got there. It's just you and them. And he said, your mentals will improve tremendously, and you will be stress free, and it will be a big, big relief, and you will see a change. You will see a difference. So, in my opinion, I feel like Auburn has played vanilla all 3 weeks. I am with you. I think we open a lot more in our playbook. Great comment. Great comment. Because I do want to I want to say this for all the people that keep saying that Auburn struggled with South Alabama. Go back and watch the tape. Go back and watch the tape. Auburn was super vanilla. All right. And then when the game, I told y'all this the other day, when the game was out of reach, you said, hey, we're not chancing a targeting penalty. Okay. We're not chancing an Amaris Williams freak injury to somebody else. We're not doing that. You get out of there. So he was constantly rotating puppies out there. And South Alabama started finding success and everything. Look, there's things Auburn has to clean up. But I think people were just over exaggerating this big thing about, oh, it was a close game. And no, it wasn't. It was not a close game. If you never once thought, oh my God, Auburn's going to lose this game. And if you did, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because it just wasn't the case. Hugh, Oklahoma, I have heard they're without their best defender for the first half of this football game because of a targeting penalty against Temple in the second half. That is exactly what Hugh Freeze wanted to avoid last Saturday. And everybody's over here freaking out because it's 31-15. Oh my goodness. Hey, Hugh just said, hey, look, man, win the game, get out of here. Let's move on. That's it. That's it. I think we should be able to knock down a few passes at the line of scrimmage. Have you seen the release point from Matier? It is very. He's super athletic, man. I'll be honest with you. He kind of like the way he gets around back there. He kind of reminds me of like a Bo Nix type, where he can dance around back there. He can extend plays. He's got a rocket. I think he's pretty talented, but I'm with you. And Brooks Austin did a great piece. If you haven't checked it out, go do it. The Film Guy Network. I know some Auburn fans were like getting into him with on Twitter about something over the summer or whatever. But I think he does great work. I love watching it. Matier throws when his mechanics get off, he misses high and to the right. And it's always over the middle of the field where danger happens for Matier. And so I'm a little interested to see if Auburn can make him pay. Michigan could not. They had the opportunities, but they couldn't capitalize. Over or under Cam Coleman getting 5 receptions. I'm gonna say over, and I also think he catches a deep ball. I think Cam catches a deep ball. I don't know if it's for a touchdown, but I think he hit somebody with a double move. Y'all remember last year it was Malcolm. I think it was on a post, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a little play action, and they hit Malcolm over the top. I think you could see something similar. I did that Saturday to Sunday night, Blake. It was amazing. Definitely going to do it every week. Look at there. Look at there. Big fans of the Charlie Kirk show. It was very obvious that AU was running the same 4 plays in the second half. Brad, you're that's it, man. Like super vanilla. And Hugh basically threw his hands up and he said, hey, I do not want to get anybody hurt. Let's get out of here. Yeah, so their starting center is out for the year. So Brett, I text Josh today. Let's see here. I text Josh and I said, y'all lost your starting center. And he said, sort of, but no. We have 2, and it hasn't been clear which one was truly the starter. The guy that's in there now is who should have been the starter all along, in my opinion. He said, we lost the guy, but he was also splitting time. So I guess it was one of those things where they were kind of in competition and he got hurt. So that's Oklahoma point of view. No, so that's Oklahoma point of view. His words. And he covers Oklahoma. So he covers Oklahoma. He is Brett, but OU fans are saying he's not that good anyway. Well, then I would hate to see who is behind him. That's what, that's my only thing about is like you ask Oklahoma and then they're like, well, he wasn't really a starter. I'm just like, hey, hit me straight. Hit me straight. Oklahoma has a nasty defensive front. My keys is who I think needs to step up for us to win is O-line and our secondary. I'm with you with O-line, and I'm with you with the secondary. I think the X factor of this game, and some people are might think this is off the wall, but if Caleb Harris doesn't find a way to play well, we could be barbecue chicken. I need to see him have a good game because I haven't seen it yet in 2025. I haven't seen it yet. And I'm not talking about Caleb looks lost. Caleb looks lost. Over or under Auburn defense gets 2 or more. You meant turnovers. Is that what your next comment meant? Turnovers. I'm gonna say Auburn gets it. I'm gonna say under on the 2. I think Auburn gets at least 1 pick. I think Auburn has a pick. I think Mateer throws into some traffic. We ain't got no starting center problems. Lou is a straight dog. That's a fact. He's an NFL draft pick. First 2 rounds for sure. I think he probably ends up going in the first if he keeps having the year that he's having and avoids injury. Biggest surprise on offense and defense so far. I think you got to go on defense, Xavier Atkins, because I think linebacker was a place where we were so uncertain going into the season. Brad, I think we had so many questions there, and he's been a guy that stepped in and been a little spark so far. So I defensively, I think you got to go with him. Now I do like Eric Winters coming in and getting time. You're slowly starting to see New Boy. I told y'all that New Boy's going to get out there. Yeah, I would have to go Xavier Atkins on defense. Offense, Horatio Fields. And I don't want to say Jeremiah Cobb has been a surprise, but I didn't know if he was going to be able to run it in between the tackles the way he has so far this year. And I think he's been phenomenal. I think he's been great. All right, Thomas, appreciate you, man. Hey, we're just glad you're a part of all this, man. We love it. We love having you. We have to throw the ball. Oklahoma DBs are undersized. We're gonna throw it. We're gonna throw it. That's why I think Cam hits a big shot. I also think you're gonna see more mesh concepts and drags and stuff like that. You're gonna see Auburn work the middle of the field more. I think BV. I think he kind of takes away the outer halves and they try to funnel everything in. So I think you're going to see Auburn really try to. I think that's why they were implementing that stuff against South Alabama. You're going to slowly start to see Auburn work that stuff in there. Dave Aranda may have helped us with too high safety look. We didn't show any of the passing game for real this year. Still haven't for real. We still haven't. In my opinion, Texas A&M scares a little more than Oklahoma. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I think their defense is shredded cheese, though. I just don't know which cheese. Is it Swiss cheese? Is it cheddar? Is it pepper jack? I think it's cheese, though. Their defense is buns. Sooners will be shedding many Mateers Saturday. Auburn by 17. Wow, Keith says Auburn by 17. Okay, love it. you'll get my prediction Thursday. Jacob has been more of a confirmation than a surprise. There you go, Brett. There you go. Yeah, I don't want to call him a surprise, but I think Horatio Fields being the comfort blanket for Jackson Arnold on third down and to move the sticks and the chemistry that they have for only being together for a short amount of time is pretty impressive. I'm really, really impressed with Horatio Fields. Man, I'm starting to think losses to OU, A&M, and Mizzou is just a matchup thing, and this defense with their missed tackles is super concerning. I'll tell you what, Brad, the Mizzou pick, I am with you on Mizzou because I underestimated Missouri. And I'll be the first to say, I think Penn State made a mistake. I think Penn State made a mistake. I do. I know the scouts love Drew Aller. He hasn't showed me anything, and he's been there for what, 4 years? He just hasn't showed me anything. I just don't think he's that good. And now he might go into the NFL and be a guy. His game might translate more into that league, but he just hadn't showed me a whole lot in college. And I think they might have messed up because I think Bo Perbula would have taken that offense and actually give it a little life. Let's see. If Jackson lights it up against Oklahoma, do you think he deserves? He will be in the Heisman talk. If Jackson Arnold goes out and let's just say he throws for 2 touchdowns and runs for another one, and Auburn wins this game, let's just say 28-24. Jackson's going to be in the Heisman talk for knocking off Mateer in his house. 28-20. Okay, we weren't far off. I'll have my official one in Thursday. I think Fields would be a great mentor in the NFL. I think he might get an actual shot. No one is talking about how much pressure is on Mateer. This is his first SEC game, and it's also against the guy that he replaced. It's also against the guy that he replaced. Everybody's acting like all the pressure's on Ja. I think there's a lot of pressure on John Mateer. Because if you lose to the guy that left, what's that fan base going to say? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness, we made a mistake. And they're all on social media right now trashing him. They're trashing Jackson Arnold. A lot of pressure on John Mateer. You made me laugh for the first time since last week. Shredded cheese or buns. Yeah, hadn't been a thank you, Karen. Hadn't been a lot of laughing. And hadn't been a lot of laughing for real. Yesterday was a big one for me because I listened to the Vice President of the United States of America, which is the greatest country on the face of the earth, host the Charlie Kirk show. And I started listening to Charlie. I started seeing him on TikTok, and it got me really interested by how sharp he spoke and his words and everything like that. Started following him. I started watching the Charlie Kirk show. And I'll probably never forget where I was at Wednesday and what I was doing last Wednesday, and just hasn't been a whole lot. I've been super down because I'll be honest with you, when election time rolled around, I followed Charlie Kirk, and I listened to him every day when all of that was going on, and he was a pretty dang big influence on how I casted my vote and things like that. So I will say that. So Don't want to get too political, but I was a huge Charlie fan. But we gotta continue to be great, though, right? And you gotta continue to push forward and things like that. You saw a mock of 4 Auburn players: Falk, Lou, Eric, Xavier, Chaplin. I think that's on course. I think that's pretty solid. I think that's pretty solid. That would be huge for Auburn, by the way. I've had fun watching Jackson's. Yeah. His girlfriend's TikToks are funny. The comment sections, you'll see me in a couple of the comment sections, like "Protect Our Glorious King." She's funny and makes Jackson get in there with her and do some funny things for sure. For sure. Amaris Williams, Falk, and Crawford rattles Mateer early and often. I just hope Amaris plays. I really do. Republicans or Democrat, we're all American, and people need to realize that we bleed the same. For sure, Auburn Express. For sure. Uh, Hate's evil, man. It really is. It really, really is. JD did a fantastic job. He really did. He really did. It was fun to watch, for real. It was really fun to watch. Yeah, tough, 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 tough. Let's see here. Mateer has had a turnover in every game this year, but boomers like to say Arnold was turnover prone. Oh, goodness, the jokes write themselves, huh? The jokes write themselves. Jackson, what did he throw? 3 picks last year? I think he had a problem fumbling the ball. He didn't really have a problem throwing picks. I know he had that terrible pick against Tennessee. Hopefully, we don't see that Saturday. Hopefully, we don't see that Saturday. But the weakest link says, why do the Oklahoma fans hate and despise Ja so much? He was a class act through the whole transfer out of OU, and the fans just crap on him at every turn. I know a couple of OU fans that do not, though. I think he will get booed at a high rate. I do know some Oklahoma fans that will clap for him and they still respect him. I follow a couple of OU fans on TikTok that have made edits of Ja coming back and they wish him well. And I've seen a couple of YouTube comment sections, but majority of them do hate him for some reason. I think it's because he chose another SEC school. I would have been pretty pissed if Bo Nix would have went to like Ole Miss or something. I'd have been pretty pissed. So, but yeah, I'd have been pretty pissed if Bo would have went to another SEC school, because I feel like Oklahoma fans were like, oh, that's a stab in the back. You're going to play there so you can try to beat us next year. Yeah, probably. And I know Jackson said something along the lines of like he hasn't even looked at the schedule when he committed and signed with Auburn. So yeah, whatever. It. We'll find out Saturday, right? We'll find out Saturday, and we'll see how Jackson carries himself. We'll see how he handles the moment, the butterflies. Can he shake them? And I think he's going to be fine. I really do. Bo is too committed to Auburn to transfer. Yeah, I agree with that, Brad. I really do. Plug the merch, Blake. I believe the merch and the link is down in the description when you get out of this video. If you want the merch, man, my guy Brett got him something. My guy Mike got him something, and they've been showing it off in the group chat. So if you want the merch, go check out the bio. The link should be in there when you get out of this video and all that good stuff. And if you want to become a member, roll on over and we'll gladly accept you. I have to get my member thing downloaded on my laptop because somebody deleted it out of the storage, so I can't pull it up. But would greatly appreciate that. And if y'all could, man, just please like the video, share the video out on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, social media, Facebook. It don't matter. Just share it out, like it. Don't like it, it don't matter. It's up to you. All that good stuff. Comment. I want to hear score predictions all week long. I want to hear all the good stuff. I want to hear your thoughts on Mateer. I want to hear your thoughts on Jackson Arnold. get down in the comment section and make it happen. Y'all, I appreciate you. We're going to be back Thursday. Yeah, we'll be back Thursday. We'll probably just do a live Thursday, and then I'll probably drop something Friday for y'all. And then we'll be here Saturday watching the game. We'll probably not, we won't be here Saturday, but Sunday we'll do a reaction show. So that'll play out for the week. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all. War Damn Eagle, baby. Nike. Them uniforms look dope. The basketball uniforms, I like them. I think they're going to look extra special on the court. Love y'all, baby. War Damn, we're out.